For students to get the most out of work-based learning, communication in the teacher-employer partnership is key. Who better to show employers the best way to interact with your students than you, the teacher?
I want my students to leave my program and jump right into the real world. So if we're not talking to employers and telling them what our students are like and what we think they need before they leave, we're doing them a disservice.
You know your students best, so you can share with the employer partners how they can be most successful with your students. We encourage you to offer guidance and feedback as much as possible. Build confidence in your teacher-employer partnership by starting small and creating shorter experiences with some reflection time in between.
Just being open with communications. All the partners that we've had have been amazing with just doing email communications. And I know the best example is when they do their interview work. We've gone back and forth with, well, what do the kids really need? What do you think you could do? How would this look like in the classroom? How much time do you need? So it's all been about technology and working through it that way.
We provide them with, this is what we're offering. I guess it kind of goes along with the ongoing interaction that we have with them. We're very open to their needs because we know it changes.
Keep in mind, employers may not be familiar with the education world. Because they don't live in this world, they may not understand teacher jargon or what certain concepts are, such as project-based learning, STEAM, and more.
There were times, I think, as far as miscommunication could be the fact of the employer would provide us with a range of skills, and possible misinterpretation by the student could be that, no, I thought this is what they were going, and actually it was a different direction.
We had spent probably 2 or 3 weeks on working on resumes. And then we had a partner come in who worked for the government, and their resumes were completely different than the resumes we were working on. And I told all my kids, you can't make it more than a page, you can't do this, you have to have an objective and all this stuff. And my kids were so confused, and I myself, I should have done my research and known that the government resumes were different as well, but I thought they were all the same. After it was done, he had sent us more examples, and then I had given those examples and ones that weren't from the government to my students, and we did some comparison work. And I actually gave them my old resume too from when I started teaching 16 years ago, and they thought that was pretty funny because I didn't have any experience. And that was definitely something they needed to see. So it ended up being a good teachable moment, full circle. But yeah, it was confusing when we first got into it.
Try to stay away from sharing negative experiences as a teacher and rather focus on opportunities for how employer engagement will enhance your classroom experience.
I have told every one of my partners, you need to be incredibly honest and tell your story. The kids will have buy-in if you share your story. As soon as you have these kids engaged, you're going to be able to meet with them and talk to them and work with them and connect with them on levels that you never knew were possible.
It just delights all of us when you see that spark go on in somebody's eyes, especially to follow from freshman to senior year, how much they've changed. It's one thing for us as instructors to explain, but then when you bring in employers, they tend to like, oh, that's what that means.
Just like employers are unfamiliar with the classroom, teachers may not be accustomed to the business culture. For example, employers may be used to having a phone call or an email responded to within 48 hours. So it's important to keep communication as timely as possible. If a response requires more time to gather information, let the business partner know you will get back to them with an answer. When communicating with business partners, try to think of them as a person to connect with and learn about how they got to where they are.
Being able to be incredibly open with what time you have in your classroom for that partnership. You can't just drop everything because we still have testing and we have to get all these other things done, but we want to value their time too.
Keeping each other in tune with what's needed, what needs to be enhanced. Communication, innovation from both sides. Let's think outside the box. Those are our key attributes, I think, that are super important.